again. Today I'm actually going to do a review of the Wyze Cam Pan, which is right here, and it's actually right here as well. This is the box, this is the actual camera. I did a review of the original Wyze, you can find that in the description below. This one's the actual bigger brother version. It does a full panning, 360-degree panning, so keep that in mind. And obviously it's a lot taller, like 5 or 6 inches here. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how easy this is to set up, and just to show you kind of how it works and show you the directions and things like that. So stay tuned here, and I'm going to show you what it's all about. So here's a good look at the camera, and I do apologize. The camera is actually the Wyze Cam Pan. It's not the Wyze. I don't know why I keep saying Wyze, but it's the Wyze. I have the other version as well. It comes with the USB cable, a plug like this. Here's a good look at the camera. And then for size comparison, here it is next to my Pixel 2 XL, and then next to a controller so you can see how big the camera is. Here's the directions you get when you open up the box, and it obviously just shows you where everything is and where the buttons are, and also where you connect in the power and things like that. Here's the other directions. It's really basically a 4-step process. You just download the Wyze app. That's the first step, and then you connect it to the power. The power is down in that little very bottom part down there. It's kind of hard to find, but it's down there. You press the start button on the very bottom of the unit for about 3 seconds, and then you basically just follow the Wyze app. I said it again. And then anyways, here's the light indications in case you have an issue. So once you plug in the unit, you're going to see a flashing light like this, and this tells you that the unit's ready to go and ready to get set up. So go ahead and look for this light. Then at the very bottom, it tells you to push this little button here hold it for about 3 seconds. Alright, once it's connected, you'll see that the Wyze Cam Pan is here. I actually have the other one as well, but there's the one I just set up. It tells you to peel off the little plastic part on the lens, which I'm going to do here in a second. And then basically you're ready to get going. So you click on the middle button here. It kind of, again, it walks you through the whole setup again, which I just did. And you can kind of go ahead and read some of the directions here, but it's a very, very easy setup. It takes maybe 5 minutes at most to get this whole camera system set up. I had very little problems with it, so let's go ahead and get started and show you what it's all about. Alright, so the first part of this is that's going to ask you to connect to the Wi-Fi, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then it asks you to take this QR code, and you actually will scan it with the camera itself, so you want to hold this up to the camera, and it's going to go ahead and scan that in for you. So once it's been scanned, you can go ahead and click on this right here, and it's going to go ahead and connect, and looks like it's going to take a long time, but it actually starts speeding up in a couple minutes here. Alright, here it goes. It's going to be done here in a second. And once it's done, it basically asks you for a name on the device here. So go ahead and type in the name that you want to call it. I'm going to call it PanCam number 1. I'm going to click OK there. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish the setup. Once it's finished, you're going to have a window up here, and you can see that my old camera's on the bottom and the new one's up here on top. So I can go ahead and click on the new camera on top. It's going to go ahead and start that camera up. Unfortunately, it needs a new firmware version right away, so we're going to go ahead and get this upgraded. And it's going to take a couple seconds, but there's the latest version, and now we're all set. Alright, so you can see here that the camera is actually set up now, and it'll pan. If you hold down the little pan button here, it's going to go all the way to the left. And it does a good job. It goes fairly quickly. If you click on the right button, it'll pan to the right. If you hold it down, it kind of consistently pans. If you just push it once, it'll go once or twice. This will actually go up and down, which is great. It doesn't go too far up and too far down, but it does help if you're looking for things, up on the ceiling or down on the ground. So, all in all, it's a great camera, and it's very easy to pan this camera, unlike some other ones. Also with this camera, if you do pick it up, it does go in landscape mode, as you can see, and you can see a very, very clear image. It's basically all HD, so keep in mind that you can do that if you want a bigger image. You don't have to look at it as this little small image when you actually have it here in this type of orientation, so just keep that in mind. Just like the original Wyze camera, it does have some of the same settings, but this camera in particular has some motion tracking. It has a pan scan, which consistently moves the camera back and forth, and it has motion tagging. So those are actually some really good features. It'll actually follow some different things around the screen. It also does have HD or standard definition, so if you want to use a little bit less bandwidth, you can do that. Here are some more of the settings that you can kind of go through. One of the first things here is the event recording, and then detection settings, alarm settings, and advanced settings. So under the detection, you can actually detect motion, detect sounds, and you can send push notifications to your device if you want to. You also have a schedule here, and you can schedule different times of the day for this to actually work if you want to go ahead and do that. So that's a great feature. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll back out of this now, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the other settings. So you do have some detection settings, and it gives you some sensitivity settings, either low sensitivity or high. So if something moves in front of the screen, you can go ahead and set that up so that you can kind of tell it what it's going to pick up, what kind of motion it's going to pick up. It does have a smoke alarm and a CO alarm setting, so it can pick up your alarms if they start going off in your house and notify you. That's a great feature. And then under advanced settings here, you can see it's got some other things like the camera status light, you have a timestamp or a watermark and a Wyze logo, so some things that are pretty much not that important in this kind of screen here. You do have some motor controls and some local storage. Here's the motor controls. It basically shows you how fast the pan can actually move back and forth. Again, here's another version of when I go ahead and pick up the phone. It's going to go into a full HD version, so you can go ahead and see how clear that is. And then to wrap this up, I wanted to show you some of the panning capabilities. So here's my phone, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the ground here, and I'm going to go ahead and start moving the camera, and I'll show you how the camera moves. So if I go to the left, it's going to basically move the camera. You'll see it here. And then obviously look at the lens. I'm going to go ahead and move the lens up, and then I'm going to move it back. So basically you can move it in any direction. It goes 360 degrees, so it's a great little camera, and it has a lot of features for $35. Just one thing to note too on these cameras kind of are weird. They don't actually work on 5G, so if you have a 5G network, you may have to do something. It says that in the directions on both this one and the original camera as well, so just keep that in mind. So what's the review of this camera? Just like the first one, I think it's actually a 4 out of 4 stars. It works perfectly. It took me about 10 minutes to set up. I had no problem with it whatsoever. It's very intuitive, and you can really learn how to use it within about 10 minutes or so. So I highly recommend it. Obviously time will tell if the motor down here is going to last as far as it rotating all the time. That's one thing, obviously. But camera's $35, sometimes less than that, so you can't complain. Usually these would go for about $100 with these type of pan and tilt kind of features. So for $35, this is a 4 out of 4 stars no matter what. So one thing my channel is all about is about technology reviews like this, plus it's also about making money and investing. And you need money obviously to buy some of this technology, so I'm kind of mixing the two. I'm going to do reviews on both technology and then also investing. Thanks again, and if you guys can please subscribe to my channel, it's going to help me out. I want to try to make a couple more of these videos, so thanks again for watching, and until next time, see you later.